welcome back to Child FC. Today I'm alone because sadly Sofus can't film today. So I am going to be reacting about 10 things you didn't know about, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Szoboszlai, something like that. You know him from Leipzig that's just come to Liverpool. So let's get started.
Szoboszlai is the latest Liverpool player on the block, and for those of you who don't really know him, you've come to the right place, because we're about to tell you 10 things you didn't know about Dominik Szoboszlai. And here's the first really interesting fact about him. He grew up in a footballing family. Oh yes, Dominik was born in Hungary in the year 2000 to Zanet Nemeth and a former professional footballer named Zsolt Szoboszlai. Zanet, his mum, was 19, and Zsolt, his dad, was 23 when they had him. Zsolt played professionally in the lower tiers of Austrian football, and you have to say that that really helped Szoboszlai get to the point that he's at right now, because his dad started to train him as early as 3 years old. And that leads us to the next interesting fact about Dominik. He started practicing with golf balls. When he was a kid, Szoboszlai's dad would train him with golf balls. He'd put one ball in each hand and ask him to look for perfect technical solutions when he failed to receive the ball in an ideal situation. It might seem difficult to understand as someone who's not a professional footballer, but what's important is that it worked, as it has made him a really good midfielder now. And you know what else has made him a really good midfielder? His admiration of Steven Gerrard. Szoboszlai was incredibly inspired by the Liverpool legend. He said that when he was younger, he didn't watch a lot of football, but he would watch the Champions League, and of course, Gerrard was often amazing there. And no, this is not one of those things that players make up after they sign for a new club. Szoboszlai has a tattoo which was inspired by Steven Gerrard. It's a tattoo of a quote from Gerrard which says, "Talent is a blessing from God, but without incredible will and humility, it is worthless." Now he'll be wearing the number 8 jersey at Liverpool, which was famously worn by Gerrard himself. A beautiful story, isn't it? And just like Gerrard was, Szoboszlai is great at set pieces, but there's something really unique about his penalties. Dominik Szoboszlai almost has a 100% accuracy from penalties. He has missed just one of the 16 penalties he's taken. But that's not even what's crazy. What's crazy is that he shoots all his penalties in the same corner. Yes, it always goes to the goalkeeper's right, all of them. Yet he has such a high accuracy. That's really crazy. You can tell that all the keepers know where he'll put the ball, but they still cannot get to it. One other thing Liverpool fans will love to find out about Szoboszlai is that he rejected Arsenal. I mean, who doesn't love it when one of their players rejects a rival? Back in 2020, when Szoboszlai was set to leave RB Salzburg, Arsenal approached him and wanted to bring him over to the Premier League. But he rejected the North London club and went to Germany instead to join RB Leipzig. He was just 20 years old at the time. Now, fast forward to 2023, and he's moved to the Premier League, but not to join Arsenal, even though the Gunners will be playing in the Champions League, while Liverpool will not. Perhaps he didn't move to Arsenal in 2020 because he was holding out for Liverpool. But while he rejected Arsenal, Szoboszlai happens to be really close friends with a rival player, and that's none other than Erling Haaland. Szoboszlai and Haaland played together for 1 year at RB Salzburg, and during that time, the pair became really close. Guess what? Even though they'll now be on opposing sides of a fierce rivalry in the Premier League, this might bring them even closer. Apparently, Haaland has already reached out to Szoboszlai and talked to him about getting a house somewhere between Liverpool and Manchester where most footballers live. So they could really end up being neighbours, you know? Wow, right? Wow. Maybe these two will recreate that Lewandowski and Royce video at the next Liverpool versus Man City game. Anyway, apart from football, Dominik Szoboszlai is apparently also good at snowboarding. So during his free time, you bet he's probably on the snow somewhere with his friends and is bored. If he's not playing football, training or snowboarding, then he's probably somewhere in front of a TV. You know why? because he loves playing FIFA and is a huge anime fan. Wow, I mean, Dominic is just like us in so many ways, isn't he? Well, except that none of us have just landed a huge contract deal with one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Yeah,
anyway, you know what else Szoboszlai loves to do? Cook. Oh yes, it's not very common to see footballers who can cook, not to talk of footballers who love to cook, but Szoboszlai is apparently an exception. The boy enjoys being in the kitchen. Wow then. A young, wealthy, talented, tall and good-looking Premier League star who loves to cook. He is definitely every lady's dream. Well, those ladies will have to go back to bed because this man right here is already taken. He's in a relationship with Fanny Getchek, a beautiful influencer and former tennis player. The pair look like they're really in love and they're pretty public about it too. So, sorry ladies. Anyway, those are 10 things that you didn't know about Dominic Szoboszlai. But now we have one question for you. How do you think his time at Liverpool will be? Will he tear the Premier League apart under Jurgen Klopp?
That was it for today. Hope you liked watching, as always. And I think he will tear the whole Premier League apart. I think he will be top scorer next season. I've said it. Top scorer or top assistant, doesn't matter. He'll definitely be top somewhere.